This is another Poets at War General Report. And here's your General, Joshua David Ling.
Good luck.
Hello, friends. First time I've done a audio-only General's Report in quite some time. Spending the day working on a lot of big picture removal of friction in my daily routine kind of stuff. Things have been pretty good, but let me get back to the main stuff I wanted to talk about here. So the calendar. I'm not talking necessarily the church calendar, the Julian calendar, but just calendar in a big broad sense. It's a very interesting thing, the way it works. The way people choose to celebrate this or go do that or make dates here to do that or the other. Summer is a really good example of a really big one. A lot of people kind of have this big routine, and most of it ends up getting scheduled around school year. Even if you're not in school, a lot of people who are outside of school, people who are too old for school, they, outside of school in that way, and then also outside of like public school systems, end up scheduling their stuff around this ubiquitous summer schedule. A lot of big things change and happen around when summer comes in and when summer leaves. Part of that has to actually do with weather, but I feel like the vast majority of it is sort of just this big arbitrary thing that we decided upon and refused to give up in a lot of ways. And I think there are lots of things like that, even on a daily basis. I used to always feel weird when, as a homeschooler, people would go and pick up their kids from school after a certain time, and traffic would get crazy, and everyone would come home at the same time from their office jobs. And I think millennials are bucking the system a little bit on that, but it's just kind of a strange thing that I've been thinking about, largely because it's been a busy season for my bandmates, so to speak. All the other hosts of Poets at War, the other people in the Brood, doing a lot of praying for them, while they deal with finances and working hard and various things changing in their lives. And not that much has actually changed for me. A lot of it has to do with getting things together, making them more efficient. So I'm trying to use this downtime where I'm not having to directly interact as much with others, even though there's been a good bit recently. Try to use some of that time, the quote-unquote downtime of summer, to work on getting my reps in. My reps for what, you might ask? Making videos, getting things going. I'm fixing to ramp up here and start doing more shorts again on both of the channels, Joshua David Ling and The Brood, as well as just more poetry, more work, more writing, Lord willing, and particularly of poetry. And so, with all those good things happening, we're going to be having a few more audio onlys during the summer, give some time for people to relax, some more casual episodes of Poets at War. And so for those who are going into the Poets at War episode, into the next segment, which will be a Burnt Marsh Wiggle, it will be on the topic of Vantillianism in a big broad sense. And Alex and I just sort of fell into this conversation, and I was recording it, and it turned into something pretty good. I don't have the entire thing in there. I did edit it a little bit, but it was a big, long conversation. And Vantillianism is something that, for those who don't study it, try to understand what Van Til's saying, which admittedly can be extremely hard. It's, I think, a good conversation to really dig into the meat of the topic. So I hope that you enjoy. For the rest of you who are just watching this General's Report, Instead of going into the Poets at War episode, be your family's bard. Do not turn to the right or to the left, and the Lord will be with you wherever you go. We'll see you next time in the trenches on Poets at War.